It's true, a set of keycaps can cost up to $200 or even more in some cases. However, there are actual reasons behind this, as it seems almost impossible to spend so much money on pieces of plastic. Today we're looking to one of the reasons why a hobby of building mechanical keyboards can cost so much money and why keycaps can be almost as expensive as some mid-range GPUs and CPUs. Hey everyone, my name is JD and welcome back to the channel where we discuss gaming PC setups and mechanical keyboards. To put things bluntly, these are the reasons why this keycap set cost me $197 after tax, and these other keycaps that come standard on most keyboards you find under $100 are not that great. Number one, you're paying for the manufacturing quality. Number two, richness in color and exclusive colorways. Number three, limited availability. And number four, compatibility. Now let's dive deeper into those topics. There are plenty of keycap manufacturers from EPPT, JTK, Ducky, GMK, Matrix, and so on. This may sound like random names and letters to anyone who hasn't dived into custom mechanical keyboards before, but it's important to know that there are lots of options of different manufacturers. There are two different primary types of plastics commonly associated with making keycaps, and it's ABS plastic and PBT plastic. ABS is generally considered lower quality due to the fact that they shine easily over time, and most cheap keyboards with cheap keycaps on them are made out of ABS plastic. However, some of the most expensive keycaps are actually made out of ABS for a couple of reasons. Companies like GMK use ABS but develop thick keycaps that use a double shot process with two different colored plastics to create rigid keycaps and crisp legends that bear the test of time. On the flip side, there is PBT plastic, which is stronger than ABS but is harder to manufacture without warping on keycaps longer than the caps lock key, and can't hold the same richness in color, and is much harder to have a shine through keycap with crisp legend, since etching the legend would break easily due to PBT's brittle properties. That's mostly a summary of ABS versus PBT, and it can go much more in depth, but for the sake of the video, we need to understand why some keycaps are so expensive and others just come standard on a keyboard. Number one, manufacturing quality. Higher end keycaps are usually thicker than most standard keyboards with their keycaps that you would find on Amazon, with a few exceptions of course. One keycap is from a standard keyboard I have lying around. The other one is made by GMK. You're going to hear GMK a lot, and it's regarded as one of the highest quality manufacturers for keycaps. Clearly, one keycap is thicker than the other. This fact alone will show that the stem is reinforced in the walls of the keycap as well, which is made to last a much longer time and through excessive typing. Another thing to note is warping on the spacebar. There is usually some form of warping on the spacebar, but on a cheaper keycaps, especially if it's made out of PBT, can be much more noticeable. Another thing is the lattice-like structure inside the keycap itself. The more grid-like structure inside the keycap, the more of that hollow sound goes away when typing. Also, it increases rigidity. This is mostly apparent on the spacebar. The sound is being broken up on the plastic grid-like lines rather than bouncing around inside the keycap to make that hollow sound. This spacebar from a Varmillo keyboard that I have is an exceptional example of that. Varmillo also makes their own keycaps with excellent keycap quality in my opinion. Another thing to notice is the straightness on the edges of the keycap, which also relates to the warping aspect brought up earlier. On the higher end keycaps, the edges are mostly straight to the naked eye, while compared to the cheaper ones. Also, another thing to note is that there's a lot less defects on these higher end keycaps that there are on these lower end ones. The last thing on the manufacturing process is the double shot process on ABS keycaps and the dye sublimation process on PBT keycaps. Both processes, double shot and dye sublimation, will last the life of the keycap, at least mostly. You may hear double shot on a lot of marketing material for a lot of keyboards, but the keycap is usually very thin when in comparison to something like this GMK keycap. Dye sublimation is dyeing the keycap and staining that keycap's plastic all the way through, which will also last the lifetime of the keycap, or supposedly. This is mostly popular in PBT keycaps. The last thing for manufacturing quality is the legends, aka the lettering and symbols. On cheaper keycaps, they can be fuzzy or blurry looking, sometimes uneven, or have weird gaps in between parts of the legend. And for the backlit keycaps, some of those legends do not evenly shine the light throughout the legend, and it can have dark spots in it. Number two, richness in color and exclusive colorways. ABS keycaps usually can hold a higher saturation of color over PBT, but PBT can also have a decent saturation in color as well, depending on the manufacturer. Most keycaps on standard mechanical keyboards are either white or black. Manufacturing with colors is expensive, or it is done cheaply. This goes back to the point of dye sublimation and double shot keycaps. The point is that it's more expensive to add in colors. You'll see a lot of keycap sets with the alpha keys one color and the modifier keycaps a different color. This also points out an extra expense, and making one solid color all the way through is definitely cheaper. The other reason is exclusive colorways. This is what can make GMK keycaps especially expensive. The color choices of the keycap is exclusive and sold for a limited time only, with the exception of some keycap sets going into a second round of purchasing. Not to mention that keycap set follows a very specific theme. For example, GMK Laser, GMK Nautilus, GMK Apollo, and more, which leads me to my next point. Number 3, limited availability. All of those exclusive themes are only made available for purchase for a limited time, and it's all purchased through a group buy. A group buy is where there is a set time period where you can place an order or pre-purchase for an item, and once that time period is ended and the group buy is closed, all of those orders are placed and then sent out to the manufacturer to be made. This process can take up to a year just to wait on a set of keycaps and requires a lot of patience. Actually, this whole entire hobby requires a lot of patience. Sometimes some extra keycap sets are made, but usually get bought up very fast once made available. These custom themed keycaps are designed by someone or a collaboration of keycap set designers, and then the orders are placed and then sent over and made by the manufacturing plant of GMK or similar keycap manufacturers. This long and custom process is also a factor on how some keycap sets can get so expensive, especially when on the resale market. Lastly, number 4, compatibility. A lot of these custom keycap sets can include options to purchase keycap sizes to fit multiple different layouts and preferences for all shapes and sizes of keyboards. Compatibility for a 40% or ergonomic keyboard or a split keyboard in different languages and dialects can be difficult to come by, so there is also a premium for that as well. Not all is doom, gloom, and incredibly expensive though. Double shot ABS keycap sets can be had for around $80 to $100 and still maintain a high level of manufacturing quality. There will most likely be less color variety and custom icon keycaps, but there are elements there to make it high quality and have unique colorways at the same time. Good quality keycaps can be had for around $50 and those high quality keycaps for around $100 to $200 depending on the circumstances and preferences of you or the buyer. I recommend doing some research on what kind of keyboard you're building or what you have that you will be adding keycaps to, and figure out what colors you want to match with, and that should be a good place to start. Bottom line is, don't dismiss expensive keycaps for cheap pieces of plastic, but don't buy them just because they're expensive. Know the differences and see what works best for you and your budget. I hope this helps, and don't forget, my custom desk mat has dropped this week and it's available in the link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and keep watching more videos if you want to see more content like this. I'll catch you all in the next one.